Okay, you gotta sing the song.
What song?
The iCarly song.
Oh. 3, 2, 1. I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me if this live stream works. Yo!
Hello.
People are saying hello, so I assume that means it's working. Nothing's showing up on my iPad, but people are saying hello anyway. And the live stream is green on there.
Can you guys see us?
Can you see us? Can you hear us? Let's make sure everything's working. Oh, it's working.
Cool.
Forgot to mute it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Talos
Hi.
of Talks podcast.
My name's Louise.
And I'm Drew.
And we are?
The Ericksons.
We are awkward.
Or we are the hosts of the Talks podcast. Thank you. It appears to be working.
Good.
And we know there's probably a lot of you out there because a lot of y'all have nothing to do.
Including us.
That's why we're live again. It's been a while. I'm glad we didn't make it a full year since the last episode.
Yeah, we're not complete quitters.
No.
We're just procrastinators.
We'll do one of these every
Especially
11
me.
months. So we
Has
can
it
say.
been 11 months?
Close. It's like 10 months.
It was June, right?
June was the last episode, and then a lot of stuff has happened since then.
Like 9 months.
So we've got a lot to catch up on. What has happened since our last podcast?
What's up with you guys? Let's see.
Also, you guys too.
The pots in the background look nice.
This is all
Thank
Louise
you.
is doing. Other than
These
this
are my
metal
succulents.
tea, not the metal tea, the wooden tea. We downgraded. Tell us about the succulents, honey.
What is there to say about them?
You've been working so hard on how like the big succulent we have, little leaves come off, right? And then they grow individual new ones.
Yes, so I'm learning more about gardening
Mm-hmm.
and propagating new plants out of the old leaves. So
This one's doing really well.
this
It's
is
very
actually
green.
a fake plant, by the way. So no, you cannot propagate this
This
one.
is my favorite kind.
You never have to water it.
Where did the wooden tea come from? This is an old one. This was a fan-made one that you notice it has a circle in it. That's where the Apple Watch charger goes because someone made this Tailosive power charger long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was back in 2018.
It was in
and-
the big office.
Yeah, that was in the big office, and we tested it out and dropped the phone and the watch on there, and they charged, and
It's pretty cool.
it's pretty cool. But it's just it doesn't fit on my desk or on our nightstand very well.
No.
So I'll never throw it away. I'll never get rid of it.
Yeah,
But
it looks very nice.
it makes for a good background.
Yeah, it's decorative.
Ooh. Piggy asks if you're left-handed or
Yes.
ambidextrous.
I am left-handed.
How's that impacted you in your life?
It's oppressed me in many ways. Actually, when I
Right.
play tennis, I use both hands.
Oh, okay. So you're ambidextrous in that way. I'm
Yeah.
terrible at saying that word and at tennis.
I don't know how you say it. Ambidextrous?
Yeah, we got to figure out something else for that word. It's got to be a
Just
different
dual-handed.
mono, omni.
No, mono
All-
means one.
Oh, what means hand? Don't people say mono e mono? Is that-
Man, right? If you say like manual, that means like
To use your hand.
Hand?
You read the manual with your hand.
I don't know.
I think, technically. Obviously, the biggest thing that's happened since the last podcast is, in fact, the thing that made us stop doing the podcast was the house search, looking for a house to buy ourselves.
Yep.
So that took a while, didn't it? How long was it, do you think, from... I remember the day. I was in that home office we had at the rental, and you came in and you were like, honey, I want to buy a house. Because you got this
So,
Zillow bug.
I think we went to Santa Cruz in May of last year, so 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we got home from that trip, I just like had this idea in my mind that we're wasting money on rent.
True.
And I basically convinced Drew that we should buy a house. And so we looked at like 20 different places.
Mm-hmm.
And our town is not nice in a lot of the areas. It's very like, would you say rural?
Well, we looked at all kinds of cities. We looked at the big grand scheme of things
Okay.
to see what our options were.
Wink, wink.
Yes, right.
But yeah, we finally found this house, the one you're seeing now,
Mhm.
with the wainscoting in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But what else do you want to say about it?
Well, do you remember how long it was between you coming into the office and saying, I want to buy a house, and, okay, we bought a house? How long did that take?
It was from May of 2019.
Yeah.
And then we made the offer in June. And then escrow closed the next month, which was July.
So it was kind of like a 2 month.
2 months.
2.5.
But
It was a busy time.
I'd been saving my money ever since I was like 12, so we had enough for a down payment.
You were a saver, that's for sure.
Looks like we got...
Hey, our first super chat on our way
Chris.
back. Chris Norton, thank you.
I think I remember him.
You do?
It's been so long, but I remember him.
I think he's the super generous guy on Twitch, too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate
Hi, Chris.
that.
Is he from the UK?
Yeah, it may be, because it's £5, right? So it could be the UK. Michael's bringing up that the Pro stand is a better purchase than a house.
True, we should live in that.
We could have gotten a loan on the Pro stand. I think that would
Really?
have been a better... I don't know.
You can get a loan on it.
Probably. They finance everything these days. Didn't
Who?
we get who?
Apple?
Everybody.
Oh.
Including Apple. You can they should add an option for the Apple Card. That's something that's happened since the last time we've podcasted. I've
What?
switched to the Apple Card,
Yeah.
and that's kind of thrown off
He closed down his old credit card. Do you
I
want to
did.
say what it did to your credit score?
Oh yeah, it went down, but not as bad as people were saying it would.
How much did it go down? Like 60 points?
60 points, but luckily I was so in the green already that even after I closed my first credit card, I was still in the green
Yeah.
after the fact.
Plus, we had already bought our house, so at that point, it's not like we need to get another loan.
Right. We were like, well, when are we going to be taking out a loan on anything anytime soon? So we were like,
Yep.
who cares? But I know you were kind of frustrated when I switched to the Apple Card because of how you
Oh, yeah.
maintain our finances.
So I like to budget,
Yeah.
and I use this app called Mint to budget.
Mhm.
Or I used to. I'm not.
Not Mint Mobile.
Yeah, that's different.
Different Mint.
And there's no way to add the Apple Card onto there. It's just not like.
It's not
functional.
supported yet.
Yeah.
They said it's coming. They said that the ability to export data to third parties is coming, but I don't know where to plug it in on Mint yet. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But
Yeah. No worries, guys. I've moved on to spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So I don't really need Mint anymore.
Oh, that's good. Well, Mint was free, wasn't it?
Yeah. I still have it, but I keep track of everything through a spreadsheet.
You are so thorough. You love having the individual boxes of like, here's our net worth and here's how much our variable expenses and our fixed expenses, and we just got everything down. You know, there is not a single
He
penny.
says we, but I did all the work.
Yes, I'm sorry, you did.
I'm just kidding.
You did.
We did it together.
Well, most of the time it's, can I see your phone? And I show her the Apple Card transactions, and then she plugs them in, and then we have our grand totals that we do at the beginning or end of each month.
It's at the end, like the very end.
Like the very last day of each month, we look at our debt and compare it to our assets, right?
Yeah.
That's how you calculate net worth?
I think, yeah. Liabilities plus assets.
That's a good thing to do, because I didn't do that at all. In fact, I feel like I still don't, but we're a team now because
Yeah.
we're doing everything together. But before we were married and we were just dating, and even before we were dating, I had the mindset of, if I have more money at the end of the month than I did at the beginning, then I'm good. I'm all set.
You're way further ahead than most people, I would say.
Maybe. I don't know.
Some people are just putting their lives on credit cards. And no judgment. You
No
can do
judgment.
that if that's how you want to live your life.
And at this point, oh, I'm sorry, Michael. It is Google Sheets. I'm sorry.
Oh, did I say spreadsheets?
Well, it is a spreadsheet, but we're all Apple sheep in the audience here, so they were hoping you were using numbers, but no.
Sorry, guys.
Is there a reason you chose Google Sheets? I don't have anything against it, but
It's just easily accessible from like any computer.
right. Well, I guess numbers is accessible from iCloud Drive, but that's
iCloud's too complicated. I literally don't understand it. Can I look
it's
at the
too
chat?
much. Yeah, go ahead. Answer some questions. We'll
Is
do our
Louise
best.
using Mint Mobile? Yes,
We
I
both
am.
are.
I'm officially part of their trap that they've set on us.
It's not. I mean, this trap is a hammock, if anything. I mean, we're both on Mint Mobile, and we're both paying nothing now. Isn't that amazing? So
thank you, everyone who used Drew's referral.
exactly, because what I realized when I put the referral code in the description on that Mint Mobile video, that video has really paid off. Honestly,
has.
outside of AdSense and everything, it has just been fantastic that I used that referral code. Mint says you can get 5 referrals, you get a free year. And if you get 10 referrals, it's a free 2 years. But then after that, you can't get more referrals.
Until the next year.
Right, until the next calendar year. Because at that point, they're giving you so much credit that they would have to start giving you tax forms. Because it's a value over $500. So they're like, no, we can't give you more than 10 referrals. So once I hit 10, I switched the referral code to Louise because we share finances. And she got 10. It took a couple weeks.
Oh, it took like a month.
It took like a month. But so now she gets 2 years, over 2 years free, actually.
Yeah, because I'm using the 3 gigabyte plan.
Right. You're on the very, very low data plan. I decided to settle with 8 because I felt like I was using a little more than
Drew
3.
is a data hoarder.
I'm a data hoarder, exactly. So I upped it a little bit to 8, which has been fine so far. I haven't run out. I've tried to run out, but I haven't. And then once you ran out, I switched it to my mother.
Yep. So now she's getting free.
And she
stuff.
just hit 5, so she's got a free
For a
year.
year.
So in 2 years, I'll just do another Mint Mobile video and tell people how my experience is going. And
He's hacked the system, you guys.
they probably should change it, to be honest.
I think they will.
We're abusing this. We're abusing this power. And what else have you found? Hon?
Okay, Randy's in the chat. Hi, Randy.
Hey.
Let me see. He said something. I went from Mint to numbers for my finances too. Good job.
Okay. He's switching to the manual spreadsheets.
I think it's better that way.
Would you do anything? What would it take to get you to switch to Apple numbers from Google Sheets?
If you explain to me how it works.
Well, I don't know how Google Sheets works.
I don't know. I just looked up how to do the calculations.
Well, I know you're not a fan of using Google Sheets on the iPad.
No.
You've tried to do that.
It's horrible.
Uh-huh. Do you think it would be easier if you had a mouse?
Yes, definitely.
So are you excited that we get mouse support on the iPad now? You can try out.
Oh, how does that work though? What does it play?
Well, I could pair with a wireless mouse, but the mouse you brought from work connects and worked. I tried it out just to see how it worked. And it was bizarre because it's not the same as a mouse on a Mac or a PC where it's just like a little clicker. It like molds.
It's a ball?
It's a ball, but it like molds to the icon you hover over.
Oh.
So it changes, and I like it a lot. I mean, I played around with it briefly, but I think it will help with your Sheets document.
Yeah, I'll try it someday. Chris donated another, is that
£2. £2.
2 pounds?
Thank you.
I am in the UK.
He is in the UK. Cool. Now we know.
Well, stay safe out there, Chris.
Must be late.
Is it?
It's probably pretty late for the UK.
It's probably like 8 p.m.
Wow.
I don't know, actually.
Thanks for staying up for us. Okay. What else we got?
Here, you can
Oh,
take over.
I'll just put it here.
It's
so
too
we can
much
both see it.
reading.
Yeah, you guys ask a lot of questions. Can you please use the iPad Pro for VR games and Taylor's? I'll think about it. But I wanted to talk briefly about our house buying experience because that took up so much of our time for those 2 months, and we didn't really get to come back and document it together. But how many houses would you say we looked at in total?
I made a spreadsheet for that. I should look it up.
Shoot.
I'm pretty sure it was like
Of
around 20 houses.
20. I think it was more than that.
Really?
And there was some terrifying ones. Do you remember?
Y'all, we have seen some things. Like I mentioned earlier, our town is not very nice in some areas, and unfortunately, our price range was more in like.
Well, we just wanted to see how low we could get away
we were
with.
finding we're trying to find the cheapest house as possible, and we went to this one house that literally had like the windows. It felt like boarded up.
Yeah, it was completely pitch black inside.
Yeah. Oh no, they had like bed sheets.
Yeah, bed sheets covering the windows.
Yeah.
And there was a family living in it as we looked through it.
There was a child on a mattress on the floor in the living room.
It was so sad.
And it was like pitch dark, and it was
I
just
felt like
crazy.
we should have called like protection services or something because they were like smoking in there.
Can I show them this, or is that too much information?
Yeah,
Can they
let's
see
not.
that?
That's too much.
Okay.
You can read it, but just don't read the address
names?
parts.
Okay.
She wrote down the addresses just so we could
Okay.
remember.
So there's actually only 14.
There was 14 in
Wait,
total?
no.
I feel like there was more than that. There was like several days we looked at.
No, it was 13 houses that we actually toured, and then 2 that we drove by.
Gotcha.
But didn't actually go inside.
Right. So we wanted to see like, because that rental we were in before this house, it wasn't fancy. I mean, it was cozy.
Good for a newlywed couple with
Yeah.
no money.
Yeah. I mean, it got the job done, and the rent was
What's the job?
decently priced.
Sleeping.
So we sleep there, and later on I worked from home there for a couple months.
True.
How long was I there? Was it April until June?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't that long.
April. So 3 months total I worked from, and that was fine.
No, it's through July because we moved here in August.
Oh, okay. So it was about 3 to 4 months, and I got the job. I did my live streams, my videos there. Everything worked fine. Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't anything fancy. So we were like, okay, we're comfortable here. How low can we go? to the point of like, let's figure out where we're not comfortable. So I thought
I'm okay with staying in a van.
I know
We should have bought a van and just toured the country.
You had a habit before we were married of. I don't want to out you on that.
You can go ahead.
Okay, of the times you would like to sleep in your car on occasion.
Yes. Okay. So Drew and I lived in different towns.
Yes.
And I would like to hang out with him like till pretty late at night, but I didn't want to drive all the way home and then like come back to see him in the morning.
Right.
So I would just find a parking lot in his town and then sleep there overnight. And I probably did that like 5 or 6 times, which is pretty dangerous, but I was saving gas money.
You were brave, because I wasn't like, honey, don't do that. I wasn't like, honey, you need to sleep in your car. You just wanted to. Yeah. Like, you had a place to stay. You weren't homeless, but you just wanted to try it.
Yeah, I had a house, or I had apartment. Not apartment. I had roommates.
Roommates
at a house,
she was staying with.
But I didn't feel like driving 30 minutes to get back home, so I was like, I'll just sleep here.
You were brave, though.
Now you guys know my secret.
You are like really, really good at just sleeping on command. Like, no matter the time of day, the place you're in. Even like, I think it was yesterday, I was filming an EV video out here, and you were able to sleep through it here on the couch.
Yeah, I took 2 naps yesterday.
You guys know how loud I am when I record those videos. Notice when I make those like tech or EV videos, how I'm talking like louder than a normal person
He's
would?
very animated.
I am very animated, and she slept through it. You were fine.
Yeah, I slept from like 9 to 12.
It's amazing.
And then at 4 o'clock, I took another nap.
And I'm the opposite. I will not be able to sleep because I'm too tired. I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm too tired. I'm just laying there, and I get ideas bouncing off in my head of videos I want to make, and I'm like, which I will say is like one disadvantage of working from home instead
There's no separation.
Yeah, having an office. But we've kind of been able to replicate that a little bit by closing off the office when I'm done working. Mm-hmm. This isn't helping with that. But it's weird that, well, right now, obviously, you're not going to work. But when you used to leave the house and go to work, the whole home felt different.
Really?
Did not feel the same at all. It just, different vibe. It's just like a different energy here when you're not around.
I think we have ghosts in our house.
Probably. Most likely. It's an older house. It must have one.
Yeah, our house makes weird sounds sometimes, and it creeps me out.
Yeah.
And we've been watching these scary shows and movies on Netflix, which only makes me even more scared. But I enjoy it.
It feeds into that fear, that's something I didn't watch much of before we were married. But once I started getting to know you, that's when we started watching the more horror shows and the like true story,
supernatural.
Some are really good, some are just terrible,
cheesy.
Oh my god, what's the bad one?
I think it's like Paranormal.
It's not Paranormal Activity, that's the movie.
Yeah,
it's called Paranormal Stories or Hunters or
something.
No, it's
like
not
that.
Hunters. It's like
on
people
Netflix.
Telling the story.
Yeah.
And they always go into these details and then never have photo evidence or anything to back it up.
It is kind of unbelievable.
It's so bad. But like it's not even kind of scary. Like those shows that are like,
I think they are.
Like they're not even like jump scary. Like it's when something shows up, it'll be like, and this apparition or something stood at the foot of her bed, and it just looks like this guy with basic makeup on, and he's like...
He's in a clown
face. He has like a hoodie on, and he shows up on screen, and I'll just start laughing. But there's other shows that are really scary. What's the Netflix one? The one that they produce themselves.
We really should have been more prepared for this.
I know, we should. Like, we've seen it a million times, yet we can't remember.
Well, if you have Netflix, it has
The Haunting? Is that what it was?
Something like that. It has like a red...
Haunted?
I
think that's it. It's Haunted or something.
With like a creepy guy.
Viewer discretion is advised. They go in... It's R-rated. Like...
Is it? Oh, yeah.
There's some really dark, scary stories on that one. So don't...
I think you're probably not as scared because you don't really believe in the supernatural.
I do, actually.
Really?
I do. I just don't believe most of the stories are the supernatural.
But you just said that there's like a weird vibe about the house when I leave.
I didn't mean like I'm being watched. We are being watched. I mean like it feels like a work environment when you're not here. And I'm like in my office and out here filming a video. It just feels like my workspace, and then when you come home, somehow it like transforms into like this relaxing and like, okay, we can calm down now, we can stop working, we can stop thinking about that.
I hope that's good.
Like,
because now that I'm home like every day, you must.
No, it's fine. I mean, like, we don't do much in the office outside of work, so that's definitely like a closed off. It's got the door and everything. Like when I'm in there, I'm working, and if I'm not in there, I'm not working. So that's the living room has kind of been a hybrid zone because I film EV vids here, but I don't like work on the EV vids here. Like the filming part is really the shortest part of the entire video making process. Like between coming up with an idea, researching it, and editing it and filming it. Filming it's like 5% of the whole time it takes to finish a video. So I bring all the equipment out here, film, and then when I'm done filming, I put it all back in the office and then I keep editing. So this doesn't really feel that much like a workspace the majority of the time. Live streams are a little different because it's just like I'm talking to you. But
can we catch up on some of these chats?
Oh yeah, did someone
Sorry,
super
I'm seeing
chat?
a lot of blue go by and I don't know what that means.
That's the moderators, so they're good. They're just chatting.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, we can talk about supernatural stuff if you want. I do believe in stuff outside of the material. You find anything interesting?
New Zealand is a great country.
That is true. Yes.
Cool.
I think they were just talking time zones. For those who don't know, it is 2:21 here. So PM, by the way.
Okay. Michael said we should have bought a Tesla and lived in it. You know what? It would have been cheaper. Except
That's true.
Drew couldn't have done his tech videos in there. It's too small.
I probably could have. But you're right.
Don't
It would
get
have been
any
very
ideas.
inconvenient. No, I prefer
Let's
the
sell
house.
this house.
Because
and live in a
that
Tesla.
the house has already appreciated in value, hasn't it?
I have no clue.
I think the last time we checked it was higher than
Well, that's Zillow.
Oh, the estimate.
Yeah, but to actually find out, I think you have to get it like reassessed.
Well,
by the
with all the
county.
work we've put into it, I think the value's gone up as is. Now that you can say this house was lived in by a famous YouTuber.
Pretty much
or-
all we did to this house was like put curtains up.
Didn't have curtains before?
We put the toilet paper roll thing.
The thing that holds the
the toilet paper.
ever so precious toilet paper roll.
The gold.
And we did a lot of landscaping though.
Well, Drew's been mowing the lawn like pretty much every week, every other
Every
week.
other week.
And it looks really nice.
Oh my god, it brings the whole house together. It looks so nice to have like the lawn mowed and just driving home to it and pulling in and just seeing all the grass all nice and cut. It's just
Well, when we first bought this house, all the grass was dead. It just looked brown on the outside.
mostly just
But then,
dirt.
but then it rained a lot, and then the grass just came out of nowhere. So it was a nice surprise.
It's a very nice surprise. I love our house.
Okay, Marcel says, I think Louise is an extreme minimalist. I don't know about that. I mean, you see how many plants I have back here?
She's not minimal with the plants.
I love plants.
We don't have any pets, but the plants are basically our pets.
I know. Every day I have a jade plant right there, and I just pet its leaves and make sure they're nice and plump. Make sure I'm watering
We
it
take
right.
them for walks.
No.
We play catch. You know,
Catch the water.
we throw catch the water. Yeah, but there's plants everywhere in here, and it's great.
Ben Close says, can you fall asleep right now, Louise? I probably could.
If you asked her to, and we were.
For $20, I will fall asleep on this.
No, don't do it. She'll do it. They'll do it.
Okay, he also said Haunting of Hill House. Yes, we have
That's a great show.
watched that show. That show freaked me out.
That's a really
I
good
remember
one.
hiding behind your your shoulder the
That
whole
one,
time.
that one really got down the eeriness, which is what I like in those scary shows. A lot of shows are so dependent. What's that movie we watched really recently? The one that was based on a true story but was exaggerated.
The Haunting of Connecticut.
The Haunting of Connecticut
something.
was so jump scare heavy. It annoyed the crap out of me.
Yeah, that one had nothing true about it. Like we watched
There
the
was
video.
a true story, but nothing in the movie was based on.
Yeah, we
the
watched
true
the
events.
video. That's like what in the movie was actually based. Nothing that happened in the
We're
movie.
like all of the biggest plot points of the movie
Yeah.
were exaggerated and
Yeah.
not part of the true story. But that movie was all about jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. Whereas The Haunting of Hill House, we did a video on that actually on movie reviews.
Huh, I
Check
don't
that out
remember.
if you want. But
That was a good show though.
it's not a true story. But what I prefer in the scary shows is the eeriness when something really creepy and bizarre happens, but it isn't with a big, loud cymbal crash.
Well, sometimes it was.
It would do it, but not for everything. There
Yeah.
was a lot of times where people were just having normal conversations and you could look in the background and see like a face or a figure, and then they would.
Drew was so good at that.
You could totally miss it if you weren't paying attention. You would not see them at all.
And I don't pay attention because Drew would be like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "See what?"
And I would say things like,
We'd have to go back.
You want me to point something out?" And she'd be like, "What? What did you say? What did you see?" And I would pause it and be like, "Look, there's a face right there." Love that show.
Yeah.
I wish more movies and shows were like that. That'd be great.
Alexander says, make him watch Filipino scary movies. I brought this up to you.
Are there Filipino scary movies?
Yes, there are.
Oh.
From what I remember, they're usually like comedies, but scary at the same time.
That's great.
The ones I've seen.
Like Scary Movie? We love
Kind
Scary
of,
Movie.
yeah.
I never seen the first one in a long time.
Really?
And that one was hilarious.
I used to watch those like all throughout high school. That was like the perfect slumber party movie to watch.
Oh, yeah, it was hilarious.
For your inappropriate friends.
And we just watched The Ring recently, which I'd never seen. It was okay.
I feel like Scary Movie was better than The Ring.
Scary Movie 3 is what they were parodying The Ring of.
Yep.
And it made me really appreciate Scary Movie 3 after watching The Ring.
I know, they're so clever.
It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, but it was pretty scary. It was pretty
it's not scary.
They got into the gore stuff a lot.
Yeah, especially about the horses.
Yeah.
Jay says, how often does Drew wear that Discord hoodie? I'd say pretty much every day.
Pretty much if I wear a jacket, this is my go-to because I know like if I'm filming a video or something, I'll usually wear different jackets if it's on a day we're not working, which is one day a week. But if I put this on, I know that when I go on a YouTube video or something, people will be like, oh, it's active.
Recognizable.
He's active in his Discord. So
Yeah.
I hope they see that and go, I should join his Discord. 'Cause he's a partner.
True that. I was going to say something, but I forgot.
I'm sorry. I talk too much.
Here, do you want to find a question?
I'll just go to the more recent ones as
Okay.
quick as I can.
Oh my gosh.
Louise, how do you like working from home? Will you never go back to the office knowing that you can do everything at home alongside your man?
Wait, what?
We should have done this 1 year ago.
1 year ago?
1 year ago.
So far I've only worked 1 day from home, and I would have to say it's probably like the best day of work I've ever had.
You liked it?
Yeah, because Drew and I were just talking not the whole time, but like if it was slow, I'd get to talk to him, and if I missed him, I would just run over and give him a hug real quick. But sadly,
got some bad news.
Because the whole C word, I'm not gonna say it.
VIRUS situation.
Yeah.
The thing.
My company decided to like scale back a lot because we've been losing business because we work in like retail and everyone's proms and stuff are getting canceled. So basically I'm on furlough for 2 weeks, which means I can't go to work. I'm not going to be paid for the next 2 weeks, and it really sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I'm here with Drew doing this live stream.
But it allows us to have more free time for things like this. So we get to talk to you guys in the process.
Definitely. But it was definitely like...
That was scary.
It was sad. I was very sad.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that Drew's having to pick up my slack.
No. Don't feel bad at all. Don't worry about it. I'm just glad you get to be home more. And you don't have to drive so much, especially in the gas car.
Yeah.
So if we can stay at home and not have to spend so much money on gas, that saves us money in return. I mean,
a little bit.
A couple weeks without pay is obviously not great, but
Yeah,
a lot of people are impacted by this. So
I hope you guys are doing better.
Yeah, I hope so. I saw someone asking if the situation had affected us, and that answers that question, I guess.
Yep.
So
furlough, and hopefully it doesn't last more than 2 weeks, but they said it could last up to 6 months, which would be really horrible because then I probably would find another job, and I really like my job right now, and it has really good benefits. So yeah, pray for me, guys.
Yeah, if you're the praying type, please. And
Or,
all those affected.
yeah.
There's a lot of people impacted by this. Thankfully, we have prepared for situations just like this through budgeting and making sure that we know what exactly to do. So it's not, a panic. As a lot of people sadly can't say the same. We just know there's some people that are in the habit of just paycheck to paycheck. And when a pandemic or a big situation like this happens, then they're kind of...
out of luck.
You're out of luck. They don't really have a backup plan or something like that. So luckily, I'm still working, so we're good. And we've budgeted in a way that either of us could lose one of our incomes, and we could stay afloat best we could.
Yeah. Luckily, we have some savings, so we're good there.
Yeah.
But thoughts and prayers go out to anyone who's in a similar situation.
Yeah.
Right
It's
now.
too bad. It's scary.
It is. Like, I took the whole, like, self-quarantine thing seriously, but just, like, losing a job, like, I didn't think that was a possibility.
It didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, we'll see, I guess.
We'll see what happens,
We'll look
but
back.
I don't recall anything like this ever happening in my life, like this global type phenomenon.
Yeah.
But I am sure going to remember it. I feel like we're in the middle of a substantial piece of history right now, like seeing how humanity and governments and people are all going to react to it and how it impacts our economy and all that. This is going to be remembered for a long time, how this impacted the stock market and businesses and people working and people having a hard time paying bills and stuff. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Just that the grocery shopping experience for us has changed so much already.
Yeah.
Between
with everyone like panic buying, it's crazy how grocery stores have run out of like a lot of necessities. Like, we're not really hoarders of stuff, so I waited till we had like 3 rolls of toilet paper before hearing everyone saying like, oh, everywhere is out of toilet paper. And then when we tried to buy some, there's just literally none left. And we went to the store like 8 different times.
Yeah.
And they
several different stores.
Yeah. Like
several
4 different stores.
And it's not just toilet paper we've noticed. There's other things that have been extremely hard to find. One would be eggs.
Yeah.
We can't find eggs anywhere.
And rice.
Rice. We found rice yesterday.
Finally.
But it took us like 2 days of checking up on different places.
We went to 4 stores.
Uh-huh.
I think that was Sunday. And like every place was out. It was crazy.
It was real crazy. We were like, really, rice too? And eggs?
No, I just wanted to make some curry, bro.
Yeah, and we like having eggs for breakfast sometimes. Yeah. So that was like, oh, come on.
So basically it's a mild inconvenience to our lives. But
yeah.
I feel bad for like older people who can't get out of their house,
right?
And can't really go grocery shopping for themselves. So
for sure, there's been other people impacted much more than us, but that's for sure. But like I've talked about before, it really hasn't impacted my daily life too much. The biggest difference is that you get to stay home, which for me is a perk. I mean, it's
I don't know about that. I'm probably like distracting you.
No, you're not distracting me. Bread and flour are completely sold out for Connor. Wow. That's crazy.
Well, I have flour, so I could make my own bread, I guess.
That's true.
But I suck at bread making.
Well, we tried, I don't know if we tweeted about this yet, but we tried making candy.
Oh, yeah. We
got to tweet that. You want to talk about that? How did that go?
So, basically, we're trying to be more resourceful. And my friend gave me this recipe on how to make candy out of orange rinds. You should go get it.
Okay, I'll go get it.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah, I know where it is. Describe it.
So basically, you like cut up. Well, first you eat the oranges. We had like 6 oranges, and we just watched a movie and we binged on orange slices. And then the next day, I cut up the orange rinds, and there's like a process of boiling it, and then boiling it in sugar, and then rolling it in sugar, and
it turns out like this.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's
show them an up close view.
If I hold it close, it'll be out of focus. But they're basically just little orange rinds that taste like candy. I would kind of resemble it to like
a gummy.
Like a gummy candy, like gummy worms, but with less sour to them. So they're sweet, obviously. They're really tasty, but they still have like a flavor to them. You can still taste like the orangeness. It has a citrus.
I will drop the recipe on Taylor's of Food.
Yeah, we should. It's pretty easy. It took a while, but
it took like a day.
But it's a fairly simple recipe. It's just orange rinds and sugar, and more water. Sugar.
But basically, if the world is actually ending and you have some oranges, at least you can make some candy.
Oh, it's good. We gotta be careful.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Look away.
But that's a good way of instead of just, it's like 2 meals in one, because for one you get to eat a bunch of oranges. We did tweet that on Taylor's of Food.
Oh, okay. Good.
But then afterwards you get to actually use the rinds for something instead of just throwing them away. So That's a good use.
Speaking of preparations.
Preparations. Prepping for the worst.
Yep.
What about
We've been watching Doomsday Preppers
on
on Netflix.
I've never watched that show before.
I used to watch that. Like, when 2012 was, like, a thing, I would watch shows like that.
It was, show's interesting because the show gives each Doomsday Prepper, they do an episode on, like, a rating. They compare, like, your shelter, your food, your water, your security, and, like, an X factor. It's, like, just kind of bonus points. And there will be random people that are amazingly prepared, and I think they're millionaires.
Probably.
They have like multiple properties, and they have like their own water supply, and they have a ton of guns, and they're just like ready for the apocalypse. And then the raiders on the show will be like, you don't have a SAM radio, 0 out of 20, you know. And
what like, radio? Some
type of, I forget what it's called. SAM
Ham
radio.
A SAM radio?
I'm sorry. I love when my brain fills in the gaps.
I know.
It's like, just like,
we have this list of topics to talk about, and he spelled furlough, Firlo.
I've never seen it written before.
It was just really funny.
YouTubers don't get furlough.
True.
That's just considered demonetization.
Very true.
But then we just don't upload. But yeah.
So basically what we learned is we're very unprepared. And we could probably last 2 weeks. Maybe. And then we'd probably die.
You know, after watching those shows and all the situations they describe, they're always wanting to talk about what someone would do to the city that they live in or to the society that they live in and how it would fall apart for this reason. And I'm like, you keep giving them good ideas.
I know.
Because there have been, attacks on the U.S. before, but they've come up with 4 or 5 ideas on things that haven't even happened. And I'm like, well, why are you talking about that? Like, don't let people know.
I know, because now we're watching the show, and like, who else is watching the show?
I've never even thought of these things, and they're like, well, someone could, put radioactive material in the bomb and just blow it up in a big city. I'm like, don't publish that.
Yeah.
If you figure that out, be like, okay, let's not share that with anybody. Let's hope no one thinks of that.
Just say something bad might happen.
Right. But after hearing those descriptions, I'm like, I don't want to survive the apocalypse. I want to get taken out with whatever takes out society.
Well, I don't know. If I had you, I'd want to try to stay alive.
Okay.
But if I was by myself, then I'd probably die anyways.
Well, if I didn't have you, that would be the last straw for me. Because, like, my whole life has been around, like, wanting to tell stories, wanting to make movies, and now it's, trying to do YouTube and trying to grow that and get into more podcasting and live stream. If all that got thrown away because of a giant nuclear attack or something, and now it was just eat, kill, survive, and we just had to keep our hearts beating as much as we could, I would be like, what's the point? What are we striving for? Like, just to keep humanity going? Like, I don't care. if humanity has died down to, like, wandering around the desert and having to, fight with other people over the last bit of water in an area, it's like, what are we living for? That's just like, I don't want to survive, basically. I want to live.
You want to thrive.
I want to thrive. I want to pursue, exciting new things, and I just feel like I would not do well in that apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah, I feel like you say that now, but you probably have more will to live than you think.
Maybe. That's a good point, because I've never been in like a situation where life and death, yeah. I mean, there's one situation being like just natural disaster or you're in an unlucky time. Like, for instance, if you were on a plane and there was a lot of turbulence. I've never had that, but if I was in a situation where I was like, oh, I might die, and there's nothing I can do about it, I don't really know how I'd react. But
exactly. Like that one guy who got his arm stuck in the boulder.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that it's humanly possible to cut off your own arm.
No, I don't think I could do it.
But if you have the will to live, anything's possible.
I feel like it would be different if you were in like a hostage type situation. Like if someone had a gun to your head and they were like, you have to do this or else I'll kill you or something. It would be like, now your willingness to live is put to test, which I may never find out what my willingness to live is. Yeah, hopefully not. It's got dark.
Yep.
But there was a guy at the grocery store recently that had a ton of stuff. What did he have?
So the guy in front of us at the grocery store, he had like 100 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese and like 100 cans of the ravioli, Chef Boyardee, and a bunch of Gatorades and like 5 giant things of peanut butter.
Ooh.
So yeah, he was really distraught. It seemed like because he was trying to tell the cashier that everything's gonna close down and like nothing's guaranteed, and she's like, no, I'm pretty sure the grocery stores are gonna stay open. And he's like, no, you don't know that. I've been through this, like a what is that called, not pandemic, but like that type of situation,
breakout, global pandemic. Yeah, it's pandemic, that's the right word.
No, because this is the first time there's been a pandemic, like recently.
The first time recently, I mean,
just like something bad happened.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to be prepared because he had like 4 kids or something. But
he was stocking up.
Yeah, literally. I was like, are you just going to feed your kids Kraft mac and cheese for the next 5 months?
It was making us think twice about it, you know. We were seeing it and going like, well, we think he's crazy now, but maybe he's right. Maybe this is the good move to make at this point. A crisis. There's
crisis,
one.
Yes.
That's the word. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, Andy Aloha, for the super chat. That was my 4th grade teacher.
Oh.
Thanks.
Hi, Mr. Aloha.
Feels weird. I shouldn't say Andy Aloha. Mr. Aloha. You will always be Mr. Aloha to me. Please stay safe. Say hello to your parents for me. Will do. Thanks for the super chat.
You stay safe, too.
You stay safe as well. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. But, the toilet paper thing is particularly bizarre because it's not like...
You can't live without it.
You could. I mean, people could make do with paper towels or sandpaper, as I brought up in today's video.
Cut up T-shirts that clog California's sewer system.
Have you seen a lot of people in the chat bringing up the bidet? Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it. I'm not sure if I would want to try that, but maybe if I was desperate enough.
I'm willing to try it at least once, and then
it's
formulate
basically
an
a shower for your butt.
Yeah, it's like foldables. I need to give it a try before I come up with an opinion.
Good point. An unbiased opinion.
Maybe if Apple made one, I would try it.
An Apple bidet.
An Apple bidet. Conceptors.
An Apple bidet keeps the toilet paper away.
That's great. Thank you.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my God.
Oh, we need to stop touching our eyes.
They clog the sewers. I'm not saying throw them down the toilet, but I'm just saying.
Just throw them away.
Yeah.
Or burn them.
Or burn them, yeah.
We've been having bonfires.
Bonfires have been fun. The first one was a lot more fun than the second one.
Because we had more wood.
We ran out of things to burn real quickly. Maybe we should start using paper towels. We'll have more stuff to burn. No.
I don't think you're supposed to burn that.
Don't do that. You would think water or food is first. True, Danny. You would think it would be something like that. But I think it was like a snowball effect. Because at first it was like people thought because of the crisis we were in that toilet paper was going to run out. And it wasn't really. But people thought it was. So everybody stocked up. So they all bought toilet paper, right?
Panic buying just leads to more panic buying.
And that makes everyone go, oh, shoot, toilet paper's running out. We should go get some now and get as much as we can. So then they run out and buy more. And by the end,
there's people like us who can't get any toilet paper.
We weren't like freaking out about it. We were just like, oh, we'll get some when we run out. And then we go. And now we're like, oh,
well,
it's all gone.
There's people in worse off situations, I'm sure.
Yes. And luckily, there's only 2 of us. So we don't really need to buy bulk buy.
We'll just share. So I take one side. You take the other.
Share the others. Reusable toilet paper.
Just kidding, you guys. We're not going to do
that. Do you guys use a common rag during the day, or you use paper towels for everything? We have a little
what do you
of both.
mean? Oh, like for wiping down? So
sometimes.
Normally I only use paper towels if I'm wiping oil off of something.
Right.
Because you can't put oil like down the drain. But just like wiping the counters down, I do have a reusable cloth rag.
It's called artificial storage. Or shortage, sorry.
What?
The toilet paper stuff. It's like, there's not really a shortage, but everyone was panic buying, so that resulted in there being a shortage, even though there wasn't one.
Yeah.
But I bet the toilet paper companies are like...
Stonks.
Big stonks. They should be like... I hope they don't raise their prices right now.
The toilet paper people?
Isn't there punishment for that? If they
price gouging.
Price gouging, that's the
on
term.
Amazon and stuff. But I think that's usually for like third-party sellers, not the actual companies.
Right. So if the companies themselves were like, hey, these things are heavily demand, we got to take our prices up, they would get in trouble.
Yeah,
legally.
If you're just trying to profit off of this whole panic. Then yeah.
I wonder if you could artificially make a shortage of something else. Like if we went out and just bought all the Oreos.
Diamonds. There's no shortage of diamonds.
No.
I've heard too many conspiracy theories about it.
Simple supply and demand. Yeah, I've heard there's like one place in Africa that like most of the diamonds come from, right?
Well, I have no clue.
Well, why is there no cubic zirconia shortage?
I think it's because those are man-made. They're not naturally.
So
created.
Anyone can make those.
Well, not anyone. A scientist.
A scientist can make those from any country. There's not a monopoly on
Correct.
that. How is working at home different from going to work? For me, not much different at all. I've been working from home since
you were born.
Since I was born.
He was born at a very young age.
Yeah, I mean, I moved. The only time I had work separate from home was when I first moved out, which was September of 2017.
But you're still working, technically. That was your home.
Kind of. Well, I mean, I spent the night there a lot of the time, but I mean, I considered that a workspace. But I mean, after that, I had a working environment until March of 2019. So it wasn't terribly long. But I mean, before that, I worked in my bedroom in the attic for many, many years. Mm-hmm. Had a separate office space for almost 2 years, and then back to working from home, and that's how I've been for about a year now. And it's like
you're just used to it.
I'm just kind of accustomed to it. Yeah,
I've only had it for 1 day.
Yeah.
And then they were like, nah.
Yeah, furlough time.
Yep, furlough time.
So that kind of sucked, but hopefully they call you back soon. Couple weeks.
Hopefully.
We'll see. But yeah, it's a weird times we're living in. Very bizarre times. But I'm glad we prepped for it in a way. You know, we didn't do what doomsday preppers do, but we've been doing a lot of budgeting since the last time we podcasted.
Yeah.
Especially on the food front.
Our food budget is all over the place.
It is all over the place, but I want you to give credit to yourself and to both of us because we did really good for a few months.
Yeah.
In 2019.
So last year, our general food budget was like around $300 a month, and that included groceries and eating out.
Right.
And then for some months, we were spending like $400, $500 a month, so we were kind of reckless. Mm-hmm. But then I think it was around like October, we decided like we really need to scale back. Mm-hmm. So in October, we tried to spend around $100, and we were pretty close. It was like $130.
It was the last $30 were at a friend's birthday party.
Yeah, her birthday
on Halloween.
Yeah.
So
literally the last day of the month.
Within a 30-day block, we were on $100 of food.
Yeah.
And we made it work.
Basically, we just ate what was in our pantry already.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it's grocery shopping and just being smart about that stuff. Because I think food budgeting is particularly tricky because you can't cut it out.
Yeah.
You can't do zero.
Unless you had like some sort of garden.
Maybe.
And had like a cow and some chickens.
Maybe. True. But they come with their own maintenance costs.
Yeah.
Alongside. But yeah, because I never monitored how much I spent on food a month until we were married. And then started paying attention to like, oh man, this is taking like a lot. This is like a big chunk of my budget each month. And it's real easy because it's never that much at once. It's never like, you know, you can't really look at it like a Wi-Fi bill or a power bill where you're like, ooh, I'm spending a lot on power. It's just like, oh, it's $10 here. Okay, $5 here.
Yeah.
$20 at a nicer restaurant or.
Because we both like to eat out. Mm-hmm. Drew especially. So we'll go out to a restaurant like even once a week, and then suddenly our budget's just like.
Poof.
Yeah.
Out of control.
Exactly.
But I think there's a common misconception that if you go to fast food places, you're saving money because they're cheaper, because they're really cheap. Where in actuality, it's still very expensive compared to just grocery shopping and making stuff at home. If you maximize like buying stuff in bulk, which is what we did, December was our record.
Yeah.
Remember December?
December we spent under $40.
Just under $40.
And we can't take all the credit for that because there were a lot of Christmas parties we went to.
True.
And I brought Tupperware. I brought Tupperware so I could take home food, which is fine. It's not like I was stealing. They were like friends and family.
No, they like by the end of each of those parties, they're like, take this, this. Get rid of this. We can't
so we
keep
just
it.
Eat leftovers.
So we would social gatherings are a great way to save money, as I've discovered.
Yeah, but now we can't do that because
it becomes harder now. Yeah, but there's a lot of Filipino parties we went to that had lots of just food everybody could take when the party was over, and there was tons to eat there. So those we would, never say no to.
I love Filipino food and
Me
parties.
Too. I have a similar taste preference to
Filipinos?
Because
it's just
how
all
they
sugar.
cook stuff. They like taking stuff and dipping it in sugar and making it real sweet or savory and just...
You've tried the sweet spaghetti, huh?
Mm-hmm. And we always go to Jollibee when we can.
I love Jollibee.
Which is Filipino McDonald's, basically.
Don't compare it to McDonald's.
That's not a good enough comparison. It's better than
McDonald's.
That. Yes. Tailosive is a company, correct. If Drew... Louise, if Drew makes Tailosive a company, all I can think about is all the tax breaks and loopholes you can get away with.
Like what? Tell us.
We pretty much, when it comes to tax breaks and when it comes to write-offs, we pretty much know every trick there is.
What tricks?
I mean, just the obvious, like, this portion of your house you can write off because it's a workplace.
We had, barely any write-offs last year.
Not last year, but the year before we had way more.
Yeah.
Because I had an actual, office. But it's a myth, and I think a lot of people exaggerate it because we know everything that we can possibly write off. And as close as we can push it, like portion of the house and equipment and time and business lunches or whatever.
No, you didn't write off any business lunches.
Because there weren't any.
You didn't write off any gas or miles.
Because there weren't.
Yes, you drove places to buy wires and stuff.
Barely. But my point is the write-offs of expenses are not better than just saving the money.
Yeah, just save the money.
That's a myth because people are like, oh, to save money on taxes, we got to spend more on the business. We got to spend more, get those expenses up. It's not how it works.
I would only actually buy stuff if you need it. Don't buy things that just to inflate your business expenses.
Right. That's something our tax lady told us, and we saw it this year because 2019 had so much less expenses than 2018.
So much less.
Is that wrong?
Fewer.
So much fewer? Is so much less wrong?
Just say fewer.
Fewer write-offs. I don't think so much less is wrong.
So much less.
Is that wrong?
So much less. I don't know. It's counterintuitive.
Okay, you're probably right. But my point is if you spend $1,000 on write-offs, you're saving
$300.
$300 off your taxes.
Yeah.
Equivalent. So basically, while yes, your taxes will be higher if you don't have as many write-offs, the amount compared to just saving that money, like what we did, it started working from home and budgeting more.
Yeah, unless you're like Amazon, where you have zero taxes and everything's a write-off.
Well, they write off a ton, yeah.
They have a loophole.
Yes. What I've discovered is very expensive companies can afford the best lawyers. And the best lawyers know all the tricks. And if you try to change the laws on them, they'll find the next loopholes. And they'll go outside the country if they need to. It's you can't outsmart them because they got the biggest minds with the biggest budgets. There's some big brain lawyers at Amazon. Quinn says so much less is accurate grammar.
Oh, okay. I sit corrected.
Do you keep separate budgets for the tech you purchase?
He just has... You have a notes thing, right? That you keep track of everything?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
or numbers.
we don't have like a separate account for just tech purchases. We just kind of look at where we are currently and how much the tech purchase costs and say, can we swing that? Can we not swing that? You know, I guess we could put it in another account, but it wouldn't really matter because we just add it together
I think
anyway.
that's only good if you're going to be like audited, which I feel like you have a very low chance. 'Cause
TurboTax
we do everything
claims,
by the book.
Yeah, we also overestimate what we owe. We just play it safe and make sure, okay, get it right because we don't want to underpay their taxes. But we got our return from taxes recently. That was weird.
Yeah, so we owed a little bit of taxes last year, federal and state. And so we mailed the check for state of like what we owed from 2019. But then like a few weeks later, they sent us a check of like $50 saying like...
You overpaid. You paid too much.
Yeah, we were really confused because they told us the exact amount we owed, but then they gave us some money back. So not sure what happened there.
It's kind of hard to do as a self-employed because what you try to do, so your taxes are pretty high on the self-employed, but what you try to do is anticipate what you're going to make in a year and then pay that quarterly because obviously you don't know how much you're going to make in a year. So you just do what you made last year again in a quarterly fashion. That's what we've done for the past several years. But then because 2018 had way more write-offs than 2019, they were like, oh, you made way more because you didn't write off as much. So you actually owed us more. And we were like, okay, we were just paying what we paid last time. But okay, here's the extra. Here's what we owed on top. And that now they're like, oh, that was too much.
Yeah,
It's
California.
just confusing.
Get your story straight.
Yeah, get your story straight. But like, it's difficult because if something were to happen where like I lose my income or YouTube falls apart, deletes my channel or whatever, and I suddenly don't have any income, the government would still be expecting me to pay like I do have an income.
Yeah.
So it would take like the full year for me to get back on them and be like, look, didn't do that well. Can I stop paying you this much? Just because it's tricky to like balance. Well, I will pay based on what I think I'll make, but I don't know what I'll make.
Yeah.
It's complicated, but
That is hard.
yeah. Really long name, Alwadani. Do you want to try to say that one, hon?
Abdullah Rahman.
Oh, you got it. Perfect, honey.
Al-Wadani?
I'm sorry it's so bright
I
in here.
feel like I'm saying a curse or something. Please, ghosts,
summon
don't
Satan
awaken.
on accident.
Don't
Sorry.
say the S word.
He asked, would you buy the Xbox Series X or PS5?
What? Don't
ahead,
ask
honey.
me.
If there's tech questions, they immediately go to Louise because we're on Talks.
I'll say Xbox.
Okay, she went with the Xbox. That is the correct choice.
It is? Okay, good.
There's no correct. It's all about what games you want. That's all that matters. It's just...
I used to play, I think it was like Xbox Connect or something.
Oh, you did?
So it had like a thing that would like scan the
It'd
room.
scan you, yeah.
And I think I played like the dancing game.
Just Dance?
Yeah, Just Dance.
Do you guys have a joint bank account? Do you recommend? Do we recommend
like a
our bank
specific,
account?
I don't know.
We've
Probably you can do it with any bank. Just your
most
local
banks
bank.
have done fine. We're probably not the experts of which bank you should stick with. We just kind of have the ones we have, and we've been not annoyed enough with them to leave. So we haven't left.
It's a good reason to stay.
Yeah. It's just it gets the job done. We're fine. But yeah. Joint finances has been a good move. It keeps things simple.
Yeah. No secrets.
Yeah, no secrets. It's especially if I tried to like buy you a present or something. You'd be like, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah, I'm too like hawk-eyed to not see something.
You're not in a bad way. It's just it keeps things transparent but compared to like okay, so like we still watch a lot of 90 Day Fiancé. And a lot of the issues with couples or after the 90 days stories or what was that dating show on Netflix we watched?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. We need to talk about Love is Blind. Where a lot of the
if you want to lose brain cells, watch that show.
lose some brain cells. the people, like, issues with the marriage will stem from Siri popped up. Issues with the marriage will pop up from, like, just one spending a bunch of money on something that the other one doesn't know about until it's too late, and then they find out, oh, I didn't know that was happening. And it when there's complete transparency, it's really hard for any of that, like, grudges to be made or frustration, because every purchase we go through together. And
yeah, it's not like Drew can't buy stuff, like,
no, we just upfront about it.
Yeah.
So you know what we're going to buy, and I let you know, hey, new iPad Pro just came out. I'm getting that for the channel, and probably going to return it, or getting a Z Flip or an S20. You know, just stuff comes up. Your wife should start a plant channel.
I don't know enough about plants.
Other Maybe than after killing them. A few years of experience. I apologize for it being so bright in here.
Here, we can close this.
Oh yeah, it's getting bright outside, so it overblows everything. Overblown everything. We are using the Mac Mini to live stream this. The same computer I do all my tech streams with. It's a great live streaming machine, so that works. Okay, we should talk about the Ericssons, because they've asked about that a lot.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel a lot of guilt for leaving you behind.
It's okay. I mean, I don't mean to speak for you, but here I go. I mean, you like just trying out new things and seeing if you like them or not. Yeah. And I feel like the Ericssons was you just trying to see if you could, edit and upload YouTube videos and see how you like it. And you did a few, and
I liked it. I'm just not as self-motivated as Drew.
That's what you claim. I mean, you get a lot of stuff done. You're a hard worker. Like, you're just very diligent and very... You set your...
I don't know if I can let you say that right now.
Why?
I literally laid on this couch all day today.
Well, you're on furlough week. You could take time off.
That's
I just
true.
mean, like, when you can... It's not that... You're not a lazy person. Sometimes you just need someone to, like, tell you what to do, or, like... But
I need you to tell me what to do.
No. You don't need me. But, I mean, with your work record... Like, one of the reasons your business let you work from home is because they trusted you. Because you had a great attendance, and you had a good customer service reviews, and people enjoy interacting with you.
That was the reason at the beginning, but then the whole, like, stay-at-home order came out, and they're like, no, everyone has to go. So. But
my point is, before that, like, the company has faith in you because you're a good worker, and you're a great team player, like you.
Thank you.
And when it comes to the good, because it's true. But when it comes to the Ericssons, you were just like, I'm going to pursue other things. I'm going to work on other stuff.
I have 2 weeks off, so I'll make a goal for myself. I'll put one video up.
Ooh, okay.
That gives me 2 weeks to do that.
Okay.
I'll come up with an idea.
So you're getting one, people. You're getting at least one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You guys can tweet at me if you have ideas.
Yeah,
or tweet at him.
Tweet at her, because the main difference I wanted between Tailosive and whatever you decide to make at the Ericssons was that if I edit something, I want it to go on Tailosive. And if you edit something, it can go on Ericssons. That's fine. I'll appear in the Ericssons. You can do Q&As on the Ericssons and stuff. That's fine. But if I make something, I just want it to be in the network. And if you want to make something and put it on Tailosive, that's fine too. But you said from the beginning.
We'll see.
Yeah, you wanted it to be kind of its own thing. So, but people really liked it. As in, there's, here we are, they're still asking about it.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at that channel in like 8 months.
I had one video do really well.
I know, the haircutting one.
The haircut.
Got like 5,000 views.
It got a ton of views. And I'm like, hey, that took me forever to get that many views. So, yeah, it's something special there. But, no, the Talks channel is supposed to be the vlogging channel. It's just when you're at home, there's only so much you can vlog at this point.
True.
But that's why I was excited that you got to take some time off, because it meant we could do this again. And we didn't hate doing this. It's not like we don't want a podcast.
Life just gets busy.
It gets busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. Since you have a channel dedicated to Tesla, have you ever considered a monthly payment loan? We thought about it and realized it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
What's our main reasoning?
I don't know. I just never take a loan again because I don't want to have. I don't want to owe anything to anyone after this house is paid off. Like, never taking out a loan again.
I agree. I don't like it. It's scary. I don't like looking in the bank account and seeing this big number of like, you owe us this much. I'm like,
Yeah, and if you don't pay this, we can take your house away.
Right. It's scary. And with the situation like right now, it makes you wonder like how much the banks could mess things up if not done correctly. But I mean, yeah, I don't like the idea of being in debt, even on a house, let alone a car. Like a house makes a bit more sense because it's
a large purchase.
It's a large purchase. You know, we didn't own a house before this one. We were just renting. And with paying off a house, you will eventually own it outright, and then you're paying towards something you get to keep. And we weren't doing that with a rental. We have a car, so it's not the same as a house. It's like we had a car and it works. It drives us places. No, it's not my dream car, but it works. And again, I work from home, so to spend, it's like the cheapest possible Tesla would end up costing us like
40 grand.
40 grand. At least one I would care about. You could probably find a used Model S for really cheap, but I want full self-driving hardware and stuff. So even with after taxes and stuff, even if we got like the 35K Model 3, it would end up being like 40, close to 40 out the door after registration fees and everything. And we're not going anywhere. We're both like,
it's just gonna sit in our driveway.
Right. So to go into debt over it sounds even dumber, because a lot of people just look at the convenience factor of like, well, I can have it now instead of later. But they don't really understand or comprehend that like when you have a loan on something, there is interest, and it helps to not look at the total cost when you're trying to do a loan, right? Like, let's not acknowledge the fact that the car becomes more expensive if we do a loan. We just want to look at the monthly expense and say, oh, well, that's lower, so must be better.
There's no judgment. Like, if you guys want to get a loan, that's on you. But for us personally, we just advise against it.
Yeah.
For ourselves.
It's just for our livelihood right now. Doesn't make much sense. And I would feel bad about it given we're already in debt on a house.
Yeah.
So
we're trying to get out of debt. Not trying to get in more debt.
Actively trying to pay off a house and then get into more debt in the process. It's like, and the car's not going to go up in value.
No.
Because the house at least will go up over time, whereas the car is going to go down. So taking out a loan and paying interest on something that will go down in value from a finance perspective just doesn't make sense. But for the longest time, I thought, you couldn't do an EV channel without an EV until
you did it.
Until the videos we did about electric cars were taking off, and I was not in them.
Yeah.
I was not at the event. I was not driving one around, but they were doing really well. So I was like, okay, maybe you don't need one. Just talk about the subject, because most of the people watching videos about EVs don't own one.
Yeah. Didn't you say you're like the only Tesla or EV YouTuber that doesn't have an EV? No,
that's not what I meant. I meant I'm the only like full-time EV channel without an EV. I mean, there's Hyperchange. He doesn't have a Tesla, but he has like 70,000 subs, and but he's more of a finance channel. I mean, he talks about all kinds of stocks and technology. Tesla is just probably the most common one he talks about. But yeah, it did feel weird, because when it comes to the EV community of like channels that I've found and watched, like there's very few that just don't have one, and this is their full-time job.
Right.
Like, I found some that don't have one, but they do something else. That this isn't that YouTube is not their career. Whereas for me, YouTube that's my full-time job. I don't do anything else. Whereas a lot of channels, even with EVs, have videos on them and talk about them, but they do something else as their primary. Like they have a different job that they get the majority of their revenue from.
That makes you pretty unique then.
So yeah, kind of unique in that way, which is interesting. But not to say we'll never get an electric car. Just,
we want one.
They'd be amazing, but priorities.
We have to wait until we have money.
Yeah, let's wait till we're not in debt, because it's hard to think of it that way, but in a way, like, you don't have money if a bank is waiting for you to pay back all of this sum. And
that
it's
money belongs to someone else.
Right.
Pretty much.
So fighting that ideology and just getting to the point of like, hey, you know what? We'll get that when we can afford it, and we're not in debt, which makes a whole lot of sense. So that's where we are.
I married a smart man.
You made me smart. I would have gone into debt over a Tesla in a heartbeat before I married you. Not a good move, though. Not a good move. Are you going to flip this house and sell for more? We found the quickest way to get rich is not stocks, but real estate.
Whoa.
Well,
we don't have money.
Not really.
To flip.
Yeah. We're not really very
investors.
No, we bought it to live in for sure, but we're also not much of the fixer-upper type. I mean,
I can paint. That's about it.
We can do basic stuff, but yeah, like there were several houses we looked at when shopping for a house that were in terrible condition. And sometimes in your mind it's fun to be like, well, we can fix it up and we can make it our own and we can make it good, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, I barely got these curtains hung up in this room. I had kind of a hard time with that, just using a power drill, so I'm not...
Owning a house is no joke. Like, literally, if something breaks, that's your responsibility to fix it.
Yeah, we had a sewer backup.
No, not sewer. Was it sewer?
Yeah, that was the sewer.
So, basically,
Water was coming back up the bathtub.
I used Drano down the bathtub, and it, like, dislodged, like, all the hairballs down there.
It was not good, but... Yeah, it's all your responsibility, and property taxes kind of suck when it's like, hey, we're paying for our own house now. We're becoming more independent, and the government's like, what are you doing? You owe us more. It's like, why? So you want me to rent? Is that what you're saying?
It's still cheaper than...
It is, yeah. Renting. Even factoring in the utilities and the property taxes, it's still cheaper than renting, but still. I don't have so many phones. I don't have the red iPhone 11. No, I sent that back. Yeah. They're asking how you're doing with the iPhone 6. How's that been?
It's been good so far. The only concerns I have is I keep running out of storage space because I have 16 gigabyte
that was
iPhone 6.
Too small.
Then also my battery dies like twice a day. But now that I'm home, I can just charge whenever, so it's no problem.
There's a reason it's not here.
It's charging up
It's
there.
charging because it dies all the time. But no, the only other iPhone we have is this one, and then a bunch of...
We have like 3 4s.
A bunch of older phones than the 6, which I don't think would be better.
We have a 3G, right?
We have an original iPhone. There's no 3G. I have 3 iPhone 4s.
One of them was mine that I bought for $30. Yours.
And we have an iPhone 5 and a 5C.
Ooh. Maybe I should go backwards even more.
Maybe you just keep going. I think the 6 is actually the best out of all the legacy iPhones we still have.
What's a legacy?
Just older, like dated iPhones. Like those are all collection iPhones. They're not like useful.
How dare you?
They can't even run the...
I'm using it, therefore it is
You're not
useful.
even running iOS 13. Those can't even run iOS 12 though.
Okay. Your point?
That's when I consider them legacy.
I can still make phone calls and text people.
For a couple minutes. They will last just a little bit longer.
At least an hour.
Are you going to try the next SE, if iPhone 9?
If Apple sends us one for free, then yes.
I will buy one to review, but I don't think we're going to keep it because
I'm good. I'm going to stick with my 6, I think, for the rest of this year. Why not?
What would it take for you to not use the 6 anymore? If it just died completely?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
And if that happened, what would be your next phone?
I would probably ask Emily to give me back my other iPhone 6.
Oh, if you're watching,
because his sister is using my other iPhone 6.
So you're next.
Sorry,
Em. You have no bias. You have no bias towards Tesla.
No, I like Tesla.
More than other cheaper EVs, even?
Yeah.
You would go with one over...
They look so nice.
Yeah. Well, we've been in one together.
Yeah.
So you enjoy them, but we're just not ready for one yet. When it comes to alternate EVs like Hyundai or Toyota, if they had an EV, would you be interested, or you just...
What's the price range?
Yeah, that's all that matters, right?
Well, price range and like the driving range.
Mm-hmm. How far it can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tesla seems to have that better than anyone.
Yeah.
At this point, we were just I just noticed today that the used Model S's on Tesla's website are dipping below 30 grand now.
Yeah, you guys should buy them up.
Yeah, buy them up. Pretty cheap for an EV that goes 260 miles, and
like $29,000.
One was 28.
Wow.
That's before tax and everything, but still, like, there's no EV that can compete.
I don't really like the look of the old Model S's though,
No,
with the
me neither.
weird like fish mouth grill.
Yeah, I mean the aesthetics aren't actually that important to me. For me, it's more just like the tech.
Functionality.
Yeah, I want to. If it can't drive itself someday, I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
It'd be cool though, like just to have one that's electric. That would be nice, but that's not the reason I want one. Louise will upgrade if Tim Cook comes to our house and gives us a maxed out iPhone 12.
That is true.
Maybe.
I'd also be like, how do you know where I live?
I'd be so happy to see him, but also very concerned.
Tim Apple.
Tim Apple. Let's see. Do your wife complains every time I buy unnecessary tech?
No.
No?
It's his job.
Well, thank you for being supportive of it, because
Of course.
oftentimes I do buy things I probably don't need, but for the sake of the channel, it's kind of helpful in the first place.
I feel like you're more restricting than I am. Like
Really?
you'll be like, I want to buy this, but I'm not sure if I want to keep it. I'm like, you can keep it if you want, but typically, so far this year, you've just bought things to review and send back.
I guess AirPods Pro was last year, huh? Yeah. I was thinking of things I've bought and kept recently, and that's the most recent one I can think of. What else have I bought and kept? Not the Apple Watch. I sent that back. That was expensive though. The titanium one was like $1,000.
Jeez.
And it wasn't even that different from my Series 4. Hyundai has an EV for $21,000, and the range is 188 miles.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, you have definitely a priority on range, I've noticed.
Yeah, because our current Hyundai right now can go 450 miles on a single tank.
It's quite a ways. But I try to remind her that it's from the gas pump, not the outlet.
Yeah, but if we're going on a road trip, we're not going to have an outlet constantly.
Right. So with road tripping, it's the biggest
Not
downside.
that we road trip all the time. We really don't.
Yeah, we barely road trip now. We were going to until our planes got canceled.
We were going to meet up with the boys.
Randy and Nick down in SoCal, but given the current situation, we were like, not a good idea.
Yeah.
You plan on buying / keeping the new iPad Pro? I don't think so. The more I'm hearing about this new iPad, the less worth it sounds like. It sounds like it's just a dual camera with LiDAR on the back, which...
But who knows? He might end up really liking it.
Yeah, I might. The one thing I think I'll definitely keep is the Magic Keyboard case with the cursor and everything.
Yeah.
That looks amazing, and I don't want to just try that out. I want to just hold on to that. In my opinion, range is the most important part of an EV, just for peace of mind. Well, it's interesting because we don't really think much about range on our gas cars.
That's because it's like really far.
Yeah, it's really far. So when advertising cars and stuff, it's always like miles per gallon.
Yeah.
You know, it's always like how efficient is the car, not so much how far can it go.
Drive?
And I'm wondering when or if ever we'll get to that point with electric, you know?
Yeah.
Or will we always just...
I think probably by the end of this year, we'll hit 400 someplace. Maybe like the top tier Model S.
Model S is pretty much there.
Yeah, it's what, 370?
391.
Oh, we're 9 miles
and
off.
There's a plaid powertrain that's supposed to come later, and that's coming with a bigger battery. So some people are saying that could hit like 500.
Ooh,
we'll
that'd
see.
Be nice.
But
well, I guess technically the Roadster can do 6, right?
6, but that's not out yet. So people are like, does it count?
No.
But yeah, if the Roadster does come out this year or next year, that will be the record setter. 600 miles on a charge. That's crazy.
I want a Roadster.
Yeah?
Okay,
Is that the one
rate
you
your
like?
Teslas
Oh,
from
that's
top to bottom.
that's a video idea I was working on.
Oh, well then let's not do it now.
Oh, that's okay. I haven't
Can't
figured
ruin the
out how I
video.
want to rank it. Like, ranking in what?
Just your favorite.
Just favorite overall? Doesn't matter, like,
Yeah.
design
You can
or
talk about why
specs
you
or...
rated it that way.
Ooh, that's tough because, like, I like the interior of the Cybertruck.
Mm-hmm. Why? The countertop looking thing?
The big display and everything, and just the headroom and how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the size of the Model Y. And I like the look of the exterior on the Semi. Semi's up there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 or number 2. It has to be one of those. But I love the semi truck. I feel like I have to put that above everything else.
The semi-truck?
Mm-hmm. It's cheaper than the Roadster.
What would you do with a semi-truck?
What couldn't you do
You're
with
going
the
to bring that
semi-truck?
through the McDonald's drive-thru?
Yeah.
No, that's for practicality. I rate that a 0.
We don't go to McDonald's.
That's true.
You could tow anything you wanted. We could have a little...
We could just live in it.
Live in the back with Tesla
Can they make
Solar.
a Tesla van?
Yeah.
I would like that.
That'd be cool.
I'd live in that.
Van life.
Yeah.
Cover it in solar panels and see how much
Ooh.
range you could get out of it.
Definitely. Now you're giving me good ideas.
I would like just a giant container on the back of the semi that's wrapped in solar. So when you park, you're just charging up the battery and then
And
you
it
live
like
on the
lifts
inside.
up like this.
Yeah.
The sides.
Yeah. Or just, when the
So
sun's
it's like-
over here, it's hitting the side.
Yeah.
Charges up. Be cool. Louise, have you met Marquez yet? Maybe Drew can give you his number. Did you know he FaceTimed him once?
Yes, I've met him.
You did meet him that one time.
I had like a really bad joke or something.
Was it a joke?
Oh no, it was. I asked him if you could have 3 things on a deserted island, what would you bring? I don't remember his answer.
It was on Friday Night Viper one time.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him. That was coming up on a year ago, I think. And you were stopping by the office, and I was like, "Hey,
Well, I
hon."
was picking you up because
You were picking me up. That's
used
that's
to
what it
work
was.
there.
And I needed a ride, and I was like, "Do you want to say hi to Marquez real quick?" You were like, "Sure." You just talked briefly, and that was it. I haven't really talked to him since then.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that collaborations will boost your channel significantly. It really doesn't.
No.
I've collabed with several big YouTubers before, and it didn't really do much for the growth.
I think maybe if you were on their channel and like actually showed
I
up.
was for John Morrison's.
Oh.
I was
yeah,
on
that's
his
true.
channel, but it didn't do much. It really didn't
Huh.
spike anything. It's more like people won't subscribe to you or come to your channel because they know you exist.
Right.
They'll come to you if they watch something you made and enjoyed it. So just appearing on someone else's channel really doesn't boost you
you.
that
Yeah.
significantly.
You never finished rating, so
Cybertruck or
Cybertruck.
semi-truck at the very top.
stop joking.
I'm not joking. I love the
Who
semi.
rates the semi as number 1 Tesla?
Okay, we'll exclude the semi for now. I'll
Okay.
save that for the video. I think Cybertruck I have to put at the top.
Okay, why?
I love the practicality of it, the
We've
storage
never
space.
needed a well.
That's
we
not
needed
true.
a truck like twice in
We
our life.
need a truck like once a week now.
Well,
whenever
if
we mow the
we
lawn.
just had a lawnmower here, we wouldn't need it.
But I like, not just for the bed of the truck, but also that it sits 6 people,
Okay.
which is awesome.
So does our car. If we have someone in the trunk.
Well, in that case, the Cybertruck sits, 8 people. But I like the range. The range is awesome. I like that it's rugged exterior, so it's not like it will chip or dent easy. So if you parked next to someone in a parking lot and they opened it up and hit your door, like you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Okay.
What?
Question. If 2 Cybertrucks are parked next to each other and one opens the door really hard, who gets dented?
Neither? Does nothing happen?
You can cut diamonds with diamonds.
Okay. Black
So-
hole forms.
What? It's a black hole.
But just for the range, the price, and the design, I like the weirdness of it, and I like the
The
armored
range
glass.
is not that good if you're getting the single motor.
I'm not. I'm talking the tri-motor.
Well, then the price is not very good for the tri-motor.
that's the best range for dollar EV in existence.
Yeah, but not good for us because that's expensive.
Okay, so we're ranking in regards to what we can afford.
Okay,
Or
just rank it however
okay,
you want to.
then Tri-Motor Cybertruck.
Okay.
Then Model Y, long range.
Uh-huh.
And then
Model 3?
yeah, maybe Model 3. It's pretty close to the Model Y in the first place. So Y and 3 should probably always be together.
Mm-hmm.
After Model 3, probably the Roadster. I don't love the Roadster, but
It's not very practical.
no.
Unless it was just us two forever.
If it was just us, like that's something we get when our kids have grown up and moved out of the house, which I think we have a few
We
years
don't
before
have
that.
kids, by the way.
And we're not going to have kids anytime soon. So we've got
No.
a few years before they graduate. And
About 30.
yeah, I've got about 30 years to get
They're
a
going to
Roadster.
be really old.
Yeah, let's get a 2020 Roadster 30 years from now. Maybe it'll be really cheap by then and still have
I don't think that would exist in 30 years.
I think it could. They're reliable. Really? Yeah, there's less things to go wrong than a gas car. So.
We'll see. Okay, what's after Roadster?
What's left? Model S and X?
Yeah.
I think I would put the X above the S.
I agree
I
with
like
that.
the Falcon doors. Those are cool. And the Model X is pretty practical. But it feels weird putting the Model S on the bottom. Because that's still a good car. It's like...
Well, they're all good cars.
Yeah, I guess I don't hate any of them.
Choosing your favorite children.
Right. I guess the original Roadster I would put at the bottom. I don't like that one.
The Lotus inspired.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, and the specs weren't amazing, so yeah, put that at the bottom. I mean, for the time...
It was good.
It was good, but...
It was the start of something great.
Right. But yeah, I'd probably put that near the bottom. We actually made a TikTok a while back.
Oh my
That's what the
gosh.
chat's asking about.
Cringy.
It got old
No,
real
it was
quick.
you. You made a TikTok. Didn't I film it or something?
I thought you went on one. Or wasn't your sister on one and then we made one or something?
I can't remember.
We made one
I made a
once.
Christmas one where I like tossed ornaments onto our little tree.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you made one. But I mean, it's fun and everything, but it's not very monetizable. So
Yeah.
there's not really a reason for us to be.
Drew only does things for money.
Well, no, but if I can work on something that I get paid for versus work on something that I don't get paid for,
Yeah,
I'd rather do the former, you know.
that's true.
Have you guys watched High School Musical, the musical series? No, but we were on Disney Plus today watching That's a Raven.
Yes.
That's a throwback.
That show lives up.
It's so cheesy sometimes, but
I know.
it's got
It just brings me back. It's nostalgic.
it's very nostalgic, but we kind of stopped using Disney Plus for a long time,
I
actually.
know. It was like a month or 2 months that we just stopped watching stuff on there.
Yeah, we were just like,
Well, we
can't
like
find
burned through
anything.
all the movies, all the Pixar movies, and
Uh-huh.
all the classics.
I heard Onward is coming to Disney Plus on April 3rd,
Oh, we
which
should
is the
watch
next
that.
Pixar movie, so
Cool.
I haven't seen
Isn't Chris Pratt in that one?
it. Yeah, it's Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, but there's not really a need to direct TikTok traffic to other socials when YouTube's bigger than TikTok, so it's like just attract people here.
Yeah.
No need for a middleman. Can you do live videos through YouTube? I'm blind and I have problems on Twitch. Never get notifications while the virus is over. Sorry to hear that. I do plan on doing occasional YouTube streams for the tech channel. I'm sorry Twitch doesn't have something you can use. But we do put the Twitch streams on Apple Podcasts after they're live. So Podcasts, sorry.
I just had the funniest image in my brain.
So I don't know if you can listen to podcasts or they have something you can use for that, but if you go on Apple Podcasts and just look up Talos of Tech Twitch streams, I try to update those as quickly as I can so you can listen to them after they're live. But sorry, Twitch is better for daily live streams, but when it comes to just the tech channel, I'll do like one live stream a month. I'll probably do one tomorrow when we get the iPad. But
Someone said, Louise, please let Drew buy the Tesla semi-truck. Y'all can live inside it. Truckers are making 6 figures like Uber, Lyft drivers, except they get to explore the country. Wait, so you're saying that I should let him become a truck driver?
Yeah, I don't want to drive it.
Yeah.
I want to live in the back while the semi drives itself. That's the idea of buying a Tesla semi, not just any old semi.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that truck drivers are going to be phased out eventually.
Over the next couple decades, I don't think it'll happen very quick, but with how autopilot technology is improving and all that,
Yeah.
it's coming.
Sorry if you're a truck driver.
Yeah, I would not recommend you pursuing that career right now. Go into HVAC systems.
Yeah, because everyone needs AC.
Everyone's going to need AC in the next 100 years, so if you figure out how to work on air conditioning,
Unless
you'll have a
the
job.
second or third ice age comes. Is it second or third?
Oh, there's been hundreds.
Oh, really?
I think they happen every so many years or so.
So many years or so.
I just
Very
know it's like
precise.
a cycle. Like there's been multiple ice ages.
We just watched, was it
2012,
Oh, that wasn't the one with the ice age, though.
Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
We watched that last
2012 is such a good movie.
It was so bad.
I know. Him
But
like
it's-
driving through LA as it's crumbling.
Yeah. You hated the last half of that movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't like underwater scenes. That's why I don't like cruise ship movies. Like Poseidon.
Poseidon, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like those kind of movies.
Those movies where they're trying to...
Or the Titanic.
Yeah. I haven't watched the Titanic, actually.
I've-
Really popular movie. I've never just sat down and watched it.
I can't remember if I've ever watched it. I'm sure I've seen scenes of it, but not the entire thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that movie had a lot of trailer shots of, like, running away from the earthquake at the last second and then the volcano, but then they had no idea where to take the movie afterwards. They were like, and then there's some boats, and they get on the boats, and then the water's coming, but the gate won't close, so people can't get in. So they're like, we should let these people in. And some guy's like, no, we shouldn't. And the other guy's like, why though? And I was like, what is this plot doing? And then they lower the gate, which traps the people on the inside from getting in. It's like, can we just all die? It would be easier at this point. The movie was too long.
Oh,
It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It should have been like... Yeah, it was.
2 hours and 40 minutes?
It was so long.
No, that was Inception you're thinking
No,
of.
that was 2 hours, 30 minutes.
No way.
I remember these things.
I think the other one was
2012 movie.
like 2 hours maybe. Not 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh. What?
It should have been 90 minutes.
It didn't feel that long.
It should have been like...
They should have just cut out all the underwater shots.
Yeah. Have you seen The Notebook, honey?
No. I read The Notebook and I was texting Drew and I was like, this is an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, I'd heard of it and people saying how sad it is, and then you told it to me, and I was like, that sounds terrible.
She cheated on her boyfriend. That's so sad.
Why do so many movies or romantic comedies are like, oh, it all started when I was engaged to some guy or I was dating some guy, and then I found out I liked this other guy, so I cheated on my initial... I'm like, what are we...
Yeah.
Why is that romantic? Is it because it's wrong that people like it or something?
No clue.
Like, what's so cute about cheating? It's just people like... It's
I
like...
don't know. They're just like, follow your heart, even if it means hurting someone else that you committed to already.
Yeah, but that makes your word kind of garbage at that point. It's like,
True.
if you're not committing to this person, why would you commit to the next person? They can't trust you either now.
Yeah.
That's why you should never cheat with someone, like, knowingly. Because if they're not loyal to their partner,
They're not going to be loyal
they're not
to
going to be
you.
loyal to you either. So don't
That's
think
true.
you're special.
There'd be no cheaters if there is no one to cheat with. Did I just come up with a fact?
You just made a fact. It's so wrong, but feels so right. No, this is wrong. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't relate. That's why it doesn't make sense to me. Do you use an audio interface to record audio, or is it all in camera? And if so, which one and which mic? This is the same microphone I record all my videos with, and I do all my live streams with. It's the Zoom H6. So we were just like, hey, this works. Set it up.
I'm ready for a nap.
Okay, we got to wrap up, guys. It's nap time. But
Thanks
thank you
for
for tuning
watching.
in. Thank you for the donations. And we will do our best to get this podcast up on other podcast platforms after it's live. So thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll chat with you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.